Good morning, everybody. 'Tis me. I am out in the garden. My hair is a mess. I'm not grooving on this whole brown hair thing, guys. Like, I dyed it back for my sister's wedding. Not feeling it, okay? So that's something I gotta fix soon, because it's just not, it don't feel like me. Plus, the box dye totally fried my hair, which is wild, because I've been, like, bleaching and dyeing my hair for, like, I don't know, over a year. And it's been the healthiest it's ever been, and then all of a sudden I use a box dye and pfft. But anyways, y'all aren't here to hear about my hair. I figured I'd do an end of the season garden tour with you guys. So this year's garden has not been anywhere near as successful as I would have hoped. It was still successful though. Lots of learning done, lots and lots of learning. For instance, let me take you over and I'll show you my number one lesson. Chickens aren't supposed to eat tomatoes according to the internet. My chickens don't want anything to do with that. Sorry, I'm trying to duck under my mother-in-law's plant that is struggling to hold on to life here. But so my tomatoes are a disaster. Like, I mean, they're just kind of everywhere. The tomato cages didn't work. The chickens got in here. I tried to put this fencing around. It's an electric fence. It's not electrified right now though, so I just put it up as like a deterrent to try to keep them out of here. That didn't work. So next year, a lot of these are getting trellised. Most of these are varieties. Actually, every single tomato I planted was a variety I've never planted before. I didn't know much about. Just kind of put it in the ground and crossed my fingers. Lots of trellises in the plans for next year, guys, because all these cherry tomatoes are getting trellised. All of my bigger tomatoes are going to get put in massive cages, and hopefully that will work better. Another thing that's struggling right now a little bit is my squash are all getting this this mold. So we have very dry summers. Didn't have any problems with mold at all this summer, no matter how much I watered. But now we're hitting fall and everything is damp all the time. So I'm getting a lot of this powdery mildew on the squash, but they're all kind of at the end of their stage anyways, so I'm not too heartbroken about that. I do have these fancy guys here. Guys, I grew pumpkins. For the first time ever in my whole entire life, I grew pumpkins. I know that might not seem like a super huge accomplishment to some people, but to me, like, that's so exciting. I'm planning on making at least one of those into pie. They're the sugar pie pumpkins, so they're supposed to be really good for that. The other two might actually get fed back to the chickens over the winter, because pumpkin seeds are actually a good preventative for worms for your livestock. So lots of pumpkins for them. Something else I wanted to show you real quick here. I have another pumpkin, another variety. So for a really long time I didn't even know that this existed, because look, it's like the same color of the vines, but I have a green pumpkin too. And I've got a little baby something growing right there. I think that might be one of my other squash. Another thing I learned this year was I need to get better at labeling. I did not label my plants very well at all. And because of that, I'm kind of like, I don't know what this is. And in my defense, like, some of this stuff I did get as trades from people, like off of Facebook groups, where we did seed swap or plant swaps, where we started our own plants and then we kind of swapped them out. Some of them were obviously mislabeled, because I was not supposed to have a zucchini, like green zucchini, and I did get one. But that's okay, because some of my tomatoes were very obviously mislabeled too, because I planted what I was almost positive was a Black Beauty tomato over here, and I can tell you right now, I am 99.9% sure this is not a Black Beauty tomato. I mean, like, these are cherries. Black Beauties are not supposed to be cherry tomatoes. So unless something crazy happened there, I must have mislabeled some stuff. So that's something I'm going to try to work on next year, is making sure I know what's where. I'm also going to replant my peppers. I've had them kind of like on the east side of my trellises. The problem is that I have a fence here. So, and then there's these big arborvitaes. So the sun comes up in the morning. I don't get sun on them until probably at least 10 or so in the morning, maybe a little bit earlier. So they're not getting full sun. They're probably only getting about maybe 4 to 6 hours of sun a day, which is not enough for full sun. Full sun, it should be probably at least 6. So I figured if I plant those on the opposite sides of the trellises, on the west side where they will get more sun, then I will be able to hopefully have more peppers. So one thing I've learned about gardening this year is that it's very important to know the space you're planting in. And I think any year you do a garden, your first garden somewhere, especially if you haven't had time to pay attention to the land, to where the sun hits, to where, you know, if you want to put structures up like giant trellises or greenhouses, if you're not paying attention to where the sun is going to hit, which I thought I was, I really did. I thought I was doing a good job of paying attention to all that. And it didn't click in my brain that, like, oh, when the trellises fill in, they're going to block sun of the plants that are next to them. So I did some dumbs this year, let's say that way. And I think that at first that was really discouraging for me. But what I've realized is that it just teaches me how to be a better gardener for next year. It just shows me that, like, next year, okay, I'm going to trellis almost all my squash next year. My squash, my melons, anything that vines is getting trellised. I'm not going to have any, I mean, obviously squash, like the zucchini, the yellow squash, you know, the patty pans, those are going to have to grow on the ground. They're not going to be very easily trellised. But the other ones, the vining squashes, those are absolutely going on a trellis. I'm growing as much as I humanly possibly can on a trellis next year. And a big part of the reason for that is because if I do that, I will actually wind up being able to grow more in a smaller space. And I didn't really account for how much I was going to love these trellises. Like, look, I'm sitting under one right now, and I mean, it's dying back. Like, my beans are getting sad. I'm letting them kind of sit there, and I'm hoping to be able to harvest some dried beans. I'm learning now, I probably should have done that before the rain started. But we do still have some more dry weather in the forecast. So I'm purposely leaving some of these bigger beans on here, trying to let them, like, plump out so that I can get the dried seeds. Like, look at these Chinese noodle beans, guys. That's massive. So I'm trying to harvest seeds. I've never harvested seeds before, guys. Never. This will be the first year I'm ever attempting to harvest seeds. Well, I take that back. I tried to harvest some seeds from some things from the farmer's market last year, and I made the mistake of not letting them dry out enough. And that wound up biting me in the butt. I wound up with a lot of seeds from some really cool produce that was mildewed. So this year I have learned that I need to let things dry out for days, maybe even a week, maybe longer, I don't know, before I package them up and try to save them. My roosters are all in a tizzy this morning, and I'm actually going to have to thin them. I had an incident last week where it was last week, where Littlefoot and Blue, who's my blue copper Maramru, they got into it, and I wound up having to keep Littlefoot's actually separate from the flock. He's one of my favorite roosters. He's sweet, he's gentle, he's great with the ladies, but he got his butt kicked, like he really did. So I'm having to kind of adjust, and I'm going through the flock right now to try to figure out who's staying and who's going, because we're gonna wind up having some rooster stew. Come here, mister. Littlefoot. Littlefoot and I were friends for a minute. Apparently he's over me now. Tried to go get him and he is having no part of it. So I've decided that I'm going to do more rows next year. Especially of these long ones. Like I have these really long rows here. And I've got 3 of these rows right now that are up and running. And I'm getting a really good amount of produce out of this. There's not anything super crazy wrong with it at this point. But I could do more. I could do better. So I'm actually going to start getting some things set up here. I think I have volunteer garlic, guys. I think I have volunteer garlic. Like, I'm pretty sure that's a volunteer garlic. That was where I had my garlic planted last year. I am not complaining though. Like, volunteer away, guys. I was going to till up this bed. Well, not till it up, but like, I've decided I'm not tilling anymore. Anymore at all, ever. I am going to switch over to more regenerative techniques and definitely going to go no-till. Might be a little bit more expensive. That's the downside. Dirt is expensive, guys. Like, it's dirt. You wouldn't... What is... It's dirt. But apparently, it's expensive. So, I'm going to fill in beds. I was going to do raised beds. And I just don't know if it's in the cards. I mean, attacked by a bean. If I can manage to get some material to make raised beds for cheap, then I'll do it. I was going to do cinder blocks. And I'm looking at it right now, and it's just not going to be feasible, especially because this is not our forever property, and I'm not trying to haul 7 million cinder blocks off the place. So, kind of back at the old drawing board for that one, but I'll figure it out. We did manage to get some drip irrigation hoses from somebody for free. For free. Guys, free. Like, that's exciting. I love free. Free is the best price ever. I don't care what anybody says. So we got some drip irrigation hoses. I'm going to use those next year. I'm not doing a fall garden this year. My idea for this year is I'm going to get everything situated, set up, and ready so that I am on time for my spring garden next year. And then I can hopefully have a very successful season next year. I have learned a lot of lessons, and I'm sure I am going to have so many more to learn. But I am very proud with how far this garden has come. And I really can't wait to do more gardening. I have been blown away with how much I love this space. And I'm super excited because I'm going to do these 2 rows of these archways, and it's going to be so beautiful, guys. It's going to be gorgeous, and I'm so pumped about it. I know it's going to be just phenomenal, and I can't wait to show it to you guys. I haven't been this excited about something in a while, so yeah, I'm a garden nut, apparently. I never thought that would be me. It's so funny how much this life has shown me that I love things I never thought I would love. Like, I was excited to have chickens. I was like, yeah, eggs, cool, awesome. I love my chickens. I want more chickens. I don't have room for more chickens right now. I have to actually get rid of some of my chickens at this point. But, like, I'm a crazy chicken lady. I love my goats, too. It just sucks because there's not really any place in there to hang out with them. And the chickens, since there's a lot now, they've been kind of taking over the whole yard. So they're in my garden all the time. That's another pain in my butt. That's something else I'm trying to solution for next year. And I think what I'm settling on, honestly, is trying to coexist with the chickens in the garden. I think what I'm settling on is that I want them in here. Maybe not when my seedlings are growing. Definitely going to get some poultry netting to protect baby plants and all of that. But for the most part, they did okay. They just ate my tomatoes. Some of my peppers too, but not many. But mostly my tomatoes. So that's frustrating. But, you know, live and learn. So, speaking of the animals, I'm going to take you and show you what Henrietta's been up to. Okay, before I show you what Henrietta's been up to, look at this, guys. I found this at my local Habitat Restore. It's a chicken feeder. So the chickens now have a chicken feeder in my garden. And here in the lilacs, the old owners of the property had buried a bathtub, I'm guessing for some kind of a water feature. But Henrietta has now decided that this is where she's going to raise her newest batch of babies. Hi, Henrietta. Yeah, you want me to leave your babies alone? Where's the other ones? Can I see? Come on. The little black babies. You're a good mama. Came into the chicken run to collect eggs. Look, we have olives now. We have a tiny little baby olive layer. I'm excited about that. And they're all like harassing me here. They all think I have food for them. They're like, where's our food, lady? I'm sorry, man. I don't have food for you. Sorry, guys. Just here to take your butt nuggets. I'm excited for that girl right there. That is Persephone. And then we have Lilo over here, who's one of the girls. She's right here, the dark one in the back. She's one of the girls we hatched out with the incubator. This guy here is going to either be finding a new home or be dinner, unfortunately. This is Blue. He's our handsome, super handsome Roo. I'm excited for this guy. He's got those really dark egg genes, and we'll bring that into our flock and hopefully give us the opportunity for some really beautiful egg colors. This is oh no, that's Jane. That's one of our Americanas. This is Sophia. Hi, Blue. Hi, Nani. You're kind of a handsome dude, but unfortunately you don't have the genetics I want, so you gotta find a new home. And then this is Stitch. Stitch is handsome. We're gonna be keeping him. And then this is one of Henrietta's babies that she just hatched out not that long ago. He's also a rooster. He's probably going to be dinner. This guy here is Pitch, and he is super handsome. He is probably going to wind up as one of our flock roosters. We'll probably keep Pitch because he's got, I like to breed for egg color and feather color. I really like the oil slick look, the dark iridescent feathers. Those I think are just the most beautiful chickens. He's got the pea comb too, which means his comb is shorter and smaller. And chickens that have a pea comb are more likely to carry the blue egg gene. So he has the potential for some really interesting genetics and some really interesting offspring as well. So that's one of the things that I'm really trying to focus on here is breeding the chickens for egg color, trying to figure out like who's staying, who's going. It's not a fun job, and I am trying to rehome everybody that I can. I have been actively trying to rehome Nani and Stitch too, even before we decided we were keeping him. We have been actively trying to rehome them for like 2 months. But like, look at how handsome this dude is. Like, he's such a good looking guy. I don't know. I just love him. This is Black and Littlefoot. Black is the hen who just was eating out of my hand. And she is a black copper Moran, super creative with the name, right? And Littlefoot is a dominant copper rooster. He is all healed up from his fight with Blue, but he is super handsome and she is gorgeous. These guys both carry the dark egg genes. They will have really dark brown eggs. And that will also bring in some olive eggs into our flock, which is something I'm super excited about. And to top it off, they're both just so gorgeous to look at. These are probably some of my favorite chickens to just sit in the garden and watch. What are you doing, ma'am? Am I too close to your babies? Hi, Henrietta. Well, guys, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.